Hey, hello, what's up guys, it's me again. I came back to my YouTube video, and today I want to talk about something in English. Now, as usual, last video I talked in Japanese, what changed, but in this video, as usual, I'm gonna talk in English. Okay, well, anyway, yeah, what I want to talk about today is that, it's been said that, you should not translate in your head while you're speaking English in order for you to speak naturally in English, right? And then I think I think it is absolutely true, because if you translate in your head from Japanese to English while you are trying to speak in English, it's gonna take a long time, and it is the process of translating in your head is time consuming, right? Time consuming process. So I think it's very natural that you cannot speak, naturally in English, as long as you try to translate in your head, again, because it's time consuming process. So yes, that's something, that this is this is something that everybody is talking about, right? Everybody say that, and it's gonna take a long time to translate translate in your head while speaking English. So that's the reason why we cannot speak naturally. And I think that most of the people would agree on this idea, and also I agree on this idea too. But one thing, I actually, cannot understand is how it feels like, to translate in your head, from Japanese to English while speaking English, because I've never done that. And then, the reason is, is something related to that thing that I talked about, in the last video, the video I spoke in Japanese. And then, in that video I talked about how I learned, how I tried to learn English when I was young. And then, I was trying to learn English just listening to English. And then one thing that I didn't mention in that video was that, I never tried to, I never study English, even when I was in high school, junior high, junior high school, throughout these 6 years. I never study, English or any subject. I never study anything, during these 6 years. I never pay any attention to teachers while while I'm in the class, or I never try to study for the test. So when I was, it was, when I was 19 years old, that was when I decided to, try real hard to learn English language, try to, learn how to speak in English. And that was when, I decided. And then I was 19 years old. And at that time, I had nothing. And I had absolutely no knowledge of English, because I never studied before. And then, with starting out with this zero knowledge of English, absolutely no knowledge, and I was trying to learn English. And as I explained on the previous video, in the last video, I was trying to learn English just listening to English. And at the same time, I think I didn't say this in the last video, but I try not to use any Japanese translations, to learn English. I just tried. I was kind of trying to understand English as English, without any Japanese translation. So if there's a word English word that I don't understand, I was trying to guess the meaning in the context. That's everything I did, right? And as I said, I started out with absolutely no knowledge of English language, and then I just trying to understand English, learn English, as English, without any translation. And I have decided not to use the dictionary. Even I have if even there was a English word that I don't understand, I always try to guess the meaning instead of trying to look it up in the dictionary. That's what I did. And then, once in a while, there's a time that, and I wanna just, I've gotta know, I've gotta know the meaning of this word. So in that case, I was using English dictionary instead of, English, Japanese dictionary. So from the very beginning, to me, English and Japanese were totally different thing, and then there's no relation between two languages because I never use Japanese definition trying to understand English. So even before I started to be able to speak English, when I was young, I never, it just doesn't, I just didn't, come up with the idea, of, translating in my head because I, from the very beginning, that English, to me, English and Japanese were totally different thing and a separate thing, and kind of like I had a different set of brain for each languages, and then so because of this, and also that as I mentioned earlier, I try to learn English, as English without any Japanese translation. So it's I never thought about I never come up with the idea of translating in my head when I'm speaking English, and then so even like if even even when I just can't come up with that right word at the right time, if that happens, I always trying to explain the same thing, using the different words. And that's what I would, try to do. And at the same time, even if I don't come up with anything, I just freezes. And then even that situations, I never try to translate, in my head, from Japanese sentence to English sentence. I never done that. So I actually, because I don't have experience, translating in my head, from Japanese to English or vice versa, English to Japanese, I actually don't know. I just actually can't understand how it feels like to translate in your head and while you speak in English. So yeah, I think that because I'm a weirdo, and because that I try to learn English in a very different way from other people, I know, that's the reason why. But I just can't understand, or I just can feel what it's like to translate in my head. So yeah. So maybe this is something that proves that I'm so weird. I'm a weirdo, maybe like my wife would say. Oh well, okay. Oh, anyway, thank you very much for watching my YouTube video again, and then I'm gonna see you in the next video. Okay, thank you. Bye.